Is the evacuation procedure, and I believe everybody knows that. The second is apologies, and we have an apology from Councillor Pomfret. Third, declarations of interest. Are there any to add to the ones that are printed in the agenda? No. Fourth, minutes. Is it agreed that I sign the minutes of the 14th of February? Okay. Fifth, public consultation. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, Councillor Condarca would like to speak on item 7, the performance report.
Right, thank you. So we'll wait till we get to item 7 then. So item 6, allotment strategy. Councillor Lloyd.
Sure. Just a bit of background. The allotment strategy was for 2012-22 included a review after the first 5 years. The Planning and Environment and Overview and Scrutiny Panel established an allotments review select committee at its meetings on the 17th of November 2016, which met on several occasions during 2017. The panel considered the updated allotment strategy at its meeting on the 18th of January, I'm getting ahead of myself, 2018. The strategy has been revised to reflect the changes since the original document was approved, together with the work undertaken by the Allotments Review Select Committee, which was set up by the scrutiny, including the consultation process which has informed the updated strategy. The key areas in the document are section 4, which is the value of allotments, revised to include references to community-based activities undertaken by our allotment associations. Section 5, legislation, is to update relating to the Localism Act 2012. Section 7 is the local policy context, amended to reflect changes and revisions to the local policy document. Section 8 is the audit of the allotment provision, amended again to reflect the current position as December 17. Section 10, developing a standard, amended to take account of recent developments within the borough and to strengthen the requirements for developer contributions. And finally, section 11, financial and resource implications, which have been revised to reflect the current financial position. Chair, this document has had some of the best work I've seen for a long time done by the scrutiny committee and residents, and also the allotment associations both in Nuneaton and Bedworth. They've all been involved in coming up with this document. Everybody, as far as I can remember, has actually signed up to self-manage their allotments. As I say, it's been an excellent piece of work, and I'd like to move the revised allotment strategy for 2012 to 22 and the action plan on 2018 to 2022 also to be approved.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments about that? It seems straightforward.
Second that.
So I'm in agreement with that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Item 7, well, normally I would ask Councillor Pomfret at this point, but as he's not here, I'm going to let Councillor Condarca speak and then ask the Managing Director to just give us some pointers. Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Performance is rarely reported in a nice timely way to scrutiny committees, but we have a nice report here, and particularly I'm looking at page 100 of the document, because that's telling us what's happening with, or not happening with lots of the projects. I'm most concerned how little councillors know about all these fiascos, and if you look at all the amber actions on page 100, actually quite a few of them should be read. I mean, particularly the disposal of land, Abbey Street, Kingsholm, Gala Bingo. That project has been a total nightmare, and it seems it's not viable. That's been clear. So why isn't it read? How can you have a project that has gone totally wrong, where you're paying £6,000 a month to some promoter to promote the site, it seems, at the moment, and it's not read? It's a total anathema why these things are only amber. We also have obviously the issues with the St Mary's Depot and the waste permit for the move. Another total disaster, which we're told in here, waste permit expected by the end of January. Has it happened? Probably not. And there's so much stuff in all this performance stuff. And then we get this free newspaper today with more data in that seems to be totally wrong. I see in your free newspaper you've got 275 CCTV cameras, whereas all the other documentation says you've got 115. This council's performance data is appalling. We just get random bits of information given to us on page 100 of a report, and no mention of the Borough Plan. I've been at the Borough Plan hearings. In Touch magazine tells us how marvellous it's going. Reality is it's totally falling apart, and it will either be found unsound or we'll have a very, very extensive range of major amendments to actually make it sound. None of this is in the performance report, and the Borough Plan is absolutely key to so much that's moving forward. And so much of the Borough Plan has, well, I think it was described as a third-class pass by one of our legal experts we hired in, but it's now falling apart even worse. And I mean, we had the Bedworth Woodlands today, and yeah, that's going to have to go back to a whole load of new assessments because the plan was half-baked. I mean, I could go on.
Could I ask you where you're actually speaking to on this report, Councillor? You have to speak to the report.
Page 100.
About what you like.
Councillor Harvey, I'm speaking on page 100 of things that are either amber, which should be read, or things that aren't on this page that
You
actually
can't
should
speak
be
about what's not on the page.
I can speak about what should be on the page. And the Borough Plan should be on this page because it's a disaster zone. I think I'll finish there.
Are there any questions to Councillor Kondaka? My question is, do you know the rules of speaking at Cabinet?
Yes, I've done it for the last decade. I've spoken extensively.
We know you have, but do you know the rules? The rules are you can speak about what is before you.
I can speak on the subjects, and if you want to limit what we can speak, we have this at full council. The Labour group stopped councillors asking questions at the council meeting.
Thank you,
This
Councillor.
council
Thank you,
is working
Councillor
appallingly,
Kondaka.
and you never answer questions.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kondaka.
Good night.
Can I ask Alan to give us some pointers from the report?
Thank you, Chair. Just to state that this strategic performance report, which is in a format which has been agreed with members, gives an overview of the Council's position under 4 key areas: finance and resource, people and service delivery, processes and prospects for improvement. If I just turn your attention to 4.2, some of the negative trends that have been highlighted there. The HRA revenue outturn is showing a negative trend. However, as it states there, savings on reactive repairs and voids have been partly used to fund capital work to make improvements to council houses. And there are 4 bullet points there which clearly members can read for themselves. I just want to emphasise that although there are 6 indicators in total which are showing a negative trend, even with that said, 5 of those indicators are still above their respective good performance benchmarks. And clearly at the end of the day, that's what we are judged on, members. I'm happy, as indeed my colleagues are, to take any questions in relation to the data that's in the Strategic Performance Report summary sheet. Thank you.
Do we have any specific questions about the... I was going to say, well, I'm sure we've already, but I do have one small criticism, that is, I haven't got my glasses with me, but even if I had, I would find some of the tables quite difficult to read.
Yes.
And I do think that actually that sort of information that's on A4 ought to be on A3 across 2 pages than on A4. You know, because my site isn't that bad, but I think it's quite difficult for people to read that.
Myself and Kelly will note those comments.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm sure that we would like everything in the garden to be rosy and everything to be 100%, but in any organisation there are always matters that need improvement, and that's why we have the quarterly report, to be able to look at what needs to be improved, and we aim to work on those things that need to be improved. But I have to say that I would like to thank the officers who have worked so hard with vastly diminished resources on those things where they've been a very good standard. So some of these things are very good, and it still is very good that we are above the average performance for many other authorities. So are we accepting the report before us? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Are there no recommendations from overview and scrutiny?
No, Chair.
No, thank you. There are no other business that's been brought to my attention, so thank you for your attendance and declare the meeting closed.
Thank you, Chair.
10 minutes, Councillor, you can put on Facebook tonight.